My name's Dr. Catherine Oakley, and I'm a chemotherapy nurse consultant at Guy's and St Thomas's NHS Foundation Trust in London, and I'm also one of the past presidents of UKONS. The Yukon SAC passport is a national competency document for nurses delivering SACs across the UK, and it's been widely adopted across the UK since 2017 when we first developed it. Essentially, it's made up of three components. The first part is a theoretical section that nurses are asked to complete. The second part is the clinical competency section, and the third part is the reaccreditation section. Essentially, the document allows nurses to fit the passport with their practice. So, for example, if you only deliver oral SAC to your patients, you don't need to complete the intravenous SAC section. So it's fairly flexible. It also contains a holistic element. So we've built in communication skills needed to support patients on SAC. So, for example, the pre-treatment consultation. So the passport was initially developed because I was asked by my lead cancer nurse, Mairead Griffin, at the time to develop a passport for London. So I was asked to lead that project. Initially, we worked with a document from South East London and Wales to develop a new version, and that was piloted within South East London, and the evaluation was very good. The document comprises of three sections initially, essentially. The first section is the theoretical section, the next section is a clinical component, and the third part is an annual reaccreditation. It's a fairly flexible document and it allows nurses to complete sections relevant to them. So, for example, if you only care for patients on oral SACT, you'd only complete that section and not the intravenous section. It also has a balance between being sort of clinically focused and holistic. So we've included detail in there around communication skills needed to support patients on treatment, for example, when delivering a pre-treatment consultation, to ensure patients get that essential support. The education around reporting symptoms and managing those symptoms well, and continuing a normal life during treatment, which is really important for patients. What worked really well with the document was the teamwork to make it happen. So it was developed within 18 months of the initial idea, which is amazing, and quickly adopted across the country. So from the outset, we had around 200 organisations using the passport, and we ran roadshows across the whole country, and they were really packed out and well attended. So that was UKONS board members running those roadshows. We've had feedback from our evaluation that nurses feel more confident and competent to deliver SACT. They feel they're delivering holistic care to their patients. It's reduced the time needed to reassess nurses when they move between organisations, which was one of the points of the passport. It gives assurance around the standard and quality of care for these nurses. It is actually the first passport to be adopted across the NHS, which is amazing for us to achieve through UKONS. It was the first passport to be put on the electronic staff record. It's been used as a model and framework to develop the acute oncology passport and the paediatric passport. So we're really pleased with the model and the enthusiasm and yeah, to develop it. So what hasn't worked quite so well was the fact that it was developed through paper. So back in 2016, we didn't have the funding or options to develop a digital version. So this means that trusts have had to pay to get the passport printed. There's risk of it becoming lost. No, you can't update the passport on a paper version. There's also an issue around the links. So there are references within the document and they were not being kept up to date, or the links were out of date. So there's some issues around that, really about it being paper-based. The assessors were saying it was taking a long time to mark the paper version, and it was all handwritten, so you couldn't always read the handwriting. So I think those were the main issues. So very successful, but we needed to think beyond a paper version. More recently, UKONS have worked with Tofago to develop the Compassly app, which is essentially the digital passport. And this has been hugely successful and has been led by Hannah Churchill and Rosie Roberts. The assessor can go in and mark the passport, and the SAC nurse can complete it digitally. It's then securely held, so wherever the nurse goes to work, it can be accessed. The links have been updated, the content has been reviewed by a reference group. So essentially, this is a huge step forward for us, I think, and for UKONS.